Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and with us today is Levi Long and Alicia Goodsoldier from Phoenix Indian Center. And the Phoenix Indian Center serves as a home away from home for the urban American Indian community by offering employment, educational, cultural enrichment, and community engagement services. And pretty awesome. And they're our neighbor. Love having them next door. Hello and welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we get started, please tell us about yourself and your journey. Alicia, you want to go first?
Sure. She'e twa heglini nishle aro na kai bashashin na slana de ne da shechedo na kai da shanale. Tisa an tai si de nasha aro hosto di shikhan. She'e Alicia Goodsoldier in Shia. So I am Alicia Goodsoldier. I am Water That Flows Together clan, born for the Mexican people. I'm also a relative to the people of the Spirit Lake, Dakota, of Fort Totten, North Dakota. I currently serve the Phoenix Indian Center as the Language and Culture Program Manager, so I oversee all of our language programming and our cultural workshops, cultural events that we hold at the center.
Welcome. And Levi?
Yep. Hi, yate Levi Long in Ishya. Mai dishkijni nishle. Do zilt aki ani bashashin. Todachini dashache. Do sitnajini dashanala. Hello, everyone. My name is Levi Long. I am a citizen of the Navajo Nation. I currently serve as the communications coordinator with the Phoenix Indian Center, and I've been there for 3 years.
Oh my gosh, 3 years already?
Yeah, it's gone by fast.
And Alicia, how long have you been there?
Same, a little over 3 years now.
Wow, time goes really fast. Okay, so and I'm not sure who wants to answer this, if it's Levi or Alicia. Who wants to tell us a little bit about Phoenix Indian Center, an overview of all your programs? You do so many great things, and always impressed with all the wide range of things that you do.
Yeah, I can talk about that. So the Phoenix Indian Center was founded in 1947. We are now in our 78th year of operation going into 2025. We are the oldest continuing American Indian Center in the U.S., and we were formed actually during a time when a large outgrowth of Native people were moving to Phoenix as a result of U.S. government public policy, specifically with the Indian Relocation Act. And during the 1950s and 60s, there was a mass migration of American Indians who were coming from rural reservations to the larger cities at that time. And as a result, several Indian centers around the U.S. were formed in relocation cities, including ours. And so we became a place to connect, to socialize, and to receive services for community members, and as you mentioned, serves as a home away from home. Today, our center serves more than 9,500 people and more than 25,000 people annually through a lot of our related outreach. We offer free workshops and classes and programs and focus on 5 primary service areas in workforce development, language and culture classes, youth development, specifically with our high school youth, prevention programming, so that includes suicide prevention, and then also safeguarding medication workshops. We also have programs focused in civic engagement, get out the vote outreach programs. Plus, we have all of our culturally based community events held throughout the year.
You do a lot.
Yeah, it's
a lot.
Yeah, but we love it, and that's what we're here for. We want to serve our urban American Indian community. So we're able to do that through a lot of our programs and events.
You guys do such a great job. So you recently moved next door, right? So you're right next to Native Health Central. You're at 4041 North Central Avenue in Building B, correct?
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about the new building. I've been in it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But what's offered in the building, and when are you open? And tell us a little bit about parking. Can you park in the garage, or what should you do?
Yep. So we are located next to Native Health Phoenix. right here on the corner of Indian School and Central Avenue. We are in Building B, which is a 2-story building. So when visitors come, they do receive a parking ticket, which will get validated once they leave. So it's free parking for them. So when people enter the center, they'll come into our lobby. Our first floor is primarily set up for visitors, for people to come in and meet with our staff members if they have appointments with our workforce development staff. That's where they will meet with them. We do have a computer lab available to the public. So if there's anybody who needs to access the internet or maybe print out some resumes or maybe do some job searches, they can come in, usually without an appointment, but sometimes it's best just to call ahead to maybe try to make sure that they have a reservation for one of the computers.
Is that Monday through Friday, 8 to 5?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And is the computer lab only for job search or it's for anything?
It's mostly for job searches, but if you're a part of any of our programs, you can utilize it for like a lot of different things.
Okay.
Yep. And then we also do share space with Tohono O'odham Community College, so they have their Phoenix classes based in our building. So along with their courses and classes, we also offer regular workshops, throughout the week. So primarily that's where people will go into our first floor area. And then the second floor is where we have a lot of our administrative staff where we're housed and whatnot. But yeah, it's a great building. It's a really great location. I'm really glad that we're next to Native Health because I really feel like that has a lot of synergy going into it with a lot of our community events.
Well, and it's nice. We used to be next to you all. Like way back at 4520 a long time ago before we moved over here and needed more space. So it's great to have you next door and work with you all again and see you every day, which I think is the best thing. So, okay, so I know you've got a lot of community events going on. What's coming up? So I think you've got something in a couple weeks, right?
We do. So our language and culture program is holding our first Navajo song and dance on Saturday, February 8th at the Montecito Community School Gym. And Montecito is located on 7th Street in between Indian School and Camelback. And this is really the first time that PIC is offering this for the community, so we're really excited about it. And for those of you that are not familiar with the song and dance, it's really a social dance that evolved from a ceremony called Inta, which is a traditional Navajo healing ceremony. But over time, it's evolved, and really today people are coming together and they get dressed in their best attire, their best jewelry, and they dance. You'll see a lot of these multi-day dances happening during several of the Navajo fairs throughout the reservation, and then other communities are holding local song and dances. So we're really excited to bring that here. I think this is the first time that it's been in the Valley for about 20 years. I know that the Heard Museum has held several back in that during that time. So we're excited. We have 3 well-known singing groups from the reservation that are coming to sing for us. They are the Tonele singers, Little Boy Blue singers, and the Hleyato singers. So there is a cash prize competition for best dancers and best dressed in the elderly to tiny tot categories. And so I think it's just a really good learning experience for someone who's not familiar with this type of dance or not able to experience this. And I think it's also a really good space for relatives to come together to visit with each other. And we're hoping that we will have some Navajo Nation council members who'll join us, who'll be able to talk to their constituents, to be able to share what's happening up at Navajo, and vice versa. And then we also are going to have some nonprofit booths there, some food trucks available. So again, happening on February 8th at Montecito Community School from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there'll be plenty of parking, and so there'll be lots of signage for folks to park. So.
Okay, so a couple questions for you, Alicia.
Okay.
I know you said Montecito. It's right across from the VA, right?
It is,
on
yes.
the east side of 7th Street?
Correct.
Okay, and you said plenty of parking and lots of signage. Now, is this event, and I'm not familiar with this one, and this is new for you all as well, right?
It is.
That's what you said. Okay, so when people come in, could I come in at 12, or do you have to commit to the whole day? is there a schedule, or what does the day look like?
So we do have, if you want to come and dance, you have to register. If you want to participate, you can come and register on site.
On that day?
Yes,
okay.
On site. And registration is actually from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. There is a grand entry that will happen about 10:45 a.m. and then the contest will happen. And yes, people can, come in whenever they please, because there's just going to be events that are going to be happening throughout the day. And we are asking that, because it's in a gym, for folks to bring their own chairs with you, and because we won't have any chairs available. So make sure to bring your own chairs, bring your blankets, and get dressed, come and dance with us. So
the big thing is, if they're going to register to dance, they need to be there 9:30 to 11:30. And then other than that, just spectators or people that want to participate and be part of it can just come in anytime that they want.
Anytime.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And then I know you have another event after that in February as well, which is the Two-Spirit Powwow, correct?
Yep, correct.
Is that at South Mountain Community College again this year?
It is, yeah. And so we're really excited that we can bring this event back to the Valley. This is our 4th annual Two-Spirit Powwow. So we're really excited that we can have this celebration for our Two-Spirit, Indigiqueer, and LGBTQ plus community. So again, that event is happening on Saturday, February 22nd. We will have a vendor market, food trucks on site. Those will open up about 10 a.m. And then at 12 p.m., we'll actually have our grand entry. And then we'll also have dance contests throughout the afternoon with tiny tots, juniors, teens, adults, and also a Two-Spirit special. So we are welcoming all dancers and drum groups to come to the event. And of course, the community is also welcome to come and help celebrate, this really awesome time, right? For us all to be together.
It's a great powwow. I go every year. Love it. Parking is easy.
Yep.
Plenty of free parking, and it's great. And everybody is so nice, and you have such a great turnout at this event.
Yeah.
Thousands of people. It's great. The weather's always perfect, and I really like this one. Sometimes parking can be a little challenging, but there it's right there, and you can just walk right onto the field, and plenty of bathrooms and food trucks and everything else.
Yep. And it's definitely drawing a lot of national attention as well. I also got to just give a shout out to our powwow committee members, to our chair, Navi Ho, who's really led this effort over the last 4 years. Also giving shout outs to our co-MCs, Londa Lakes and Ryan Miguel, our arena director, Buffalo Barbie. We also will have our head dancers with Mile Ethelbaugh, River Webb, Trudy Jackson. And then we'll also have some head drums with Musquade and Heartland Express. But yeah, definitely invite everybody to come and really just kind of be a part of this really great community event.
Okay, so I need to back up a second and ask, where do I get the information? So Alicia, is it on your website? Is it on social media? And also Levi, where do I find out? Is it best just to watch your Instagram or Facebook or check the website or everything?
Our website is always updated. Levi always does a really good job at that. Thank you. But yes, website has all the information. And then, of course, on our socials as well, Instagram, Facebook, sometimes LinkedIn. So that's the best place to find that information.
Okay, and if people still have questions and they can't find it on either of those places, are they always welcome to call Phoenix Indian Center and talk to somebody and say, hey, I need more info and how to register and things like that?
Absolutely.
Yep, they can give us a call at 602-264-6768. They can also reach us through email, so info@phxindcenter.org.
Okay, so now we're going to jump ahead to March. I think you have some other activities scheduled as well, right?
We do.
So you've got, I think, on March, what day is it for the art market?
Mm-hmm.
March 1st. Oh my gosh, so That's going to be here before you know it. What is the plan for the art market on March 1st?
Yeah, so that day we will have our annual Indigenous Community Art Market. And then later in the evening, we'll have our Indigenous Community Fashion Showcase. But the art market is going to kick off usually at about 9 a.m. We're going to host that here at the Phoenix Indian Center, 4041 North Central Avenue, Phoenix AZ. So when you arrive on site, we're going to have signage up. We'll have some food trucks out there. And we're expecting about 50 vendors or so to come out and give them an opportunity to showcase, their jewelry, their art, clothing, textiles, and other handcrafted items. But yeah, we'll have vendor registration opening up this week. We definitely want to welcome everybody to come out. Again, this is really a great opportunity for our artists to showcase their work to visitors and community members who are in Phoenix during that weekend. So that weekend also is the Herd Indian Market.
Yep.
So when we planned this event, it was really strategic in that we worked with the Herd so that we could offer another venue for artists who maybe were not showcasing at the Herd, but gives them another opportunity for them to, get their name out there and for visitors to come and check out our art market. So we're definitely really excited to bring this back to the Valley.
It's like such a great idea that people, especially visitors that aren't from here and that haven't gotten to the Herd, it's a great idea. I always stop at your art market first, and then I always recommend that before then they go to the Herd.
Yep.
Just my own. I think you guys do such a great job with that event. It is so very well attended. Parking will be easy. Food trucks, like you said, and we're only, 2 miles from the Herd?
Correct.
And so a great opportunity to support your local artisans and purchase from them as well.
Yeah, and if you don't want to drive that day, you can definitely just hop on the light rail.
Yep.
We also have the light rail stop just like right here on Indian School.
And at the Herd. They could hop back on and
Yep.
go right to the Herd and not have to deal with any parking down there.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's going
Which
to
is
be
going to be a lot down there.
It's going to be a great Saturday. And I'll also have Alicia talk about our fashion showcase a little bit more in depth as well.
Yeah, so we are entering our 4th year of the annual Indigenous Fashion Showcase that is going to be happening again at Brophy Preparatory School. We're really grateful to them for allowing us to return again this year. Our theme this year is Desert Dreams, Spirit of the Southwest. Again, we have our first community fashion showcase that's happening prior to the featured showcase. So this is where our community members are able to showcase one of their creations. They're judged and they can win a cash prize in their respective categories. And then after that, we have the featured fashion showcase. And so these are up and coming designers and creators, and we're really looking to help them elevate this brand, or their brand rather. And this year we have a really diverse group of folks that are coming from Pine Ridge, South Dakota, Montana, Canada, and then also several of them who are right here in the Valley. And this year our featured designers are James Starr comes out of Saichia Designs, Kevin Dakota Duncan, Agnes Yellow Bear of Recreations, and then finally Rolina and Vanessa Morgan. And I really want to talk about Vanessa and Rolina really quick, but they are sisters. They're in their late teens, early 20s, and they've participated in the Community Fashion Showcase for the last 3 years. And I really love their story because they regularly participate in a lot of our programming at the center, especially taking a lot of our sewing classes. They're always looking to improve their craft, and so we're really excited to move them into our featured fashion showcase, and they're really excited as well. So if folks are interested in the Community Fashion Showcase, they can find that application on our website along with how to purchase tickets. And so again, really excited to showcase this on Saturday, March 1st. The time, doors open at 5:30 and then it goes until 9 p.m. I also want to mention, too, that we're bringing back our co-MCs. Last year, we had Colton Schoen of Good Morning Arizona as anchor and reporter, and then also Mary Kim Titlow, who's the executive director of the United National Indian Tribal Youth Council. So they're both coming back to MC the event. And then we have two co-chairs who are helping us really drive this fashion showcase. Sage Mountain Flower, who is Mountain Flower, she's Okeo Wingay from New Mexico, and then Jared Ivins Massey, who is from the Valley, and they both have been featured designers in our featured design showcase, and so we're really happy to have them back to help us drive this event.
I know tickets sell out really fast.
They do.
I tried to go a couple times and couldn't get tickets because they sell out so fast. So I recommend that people watch. It's on the website, you said?
Yes.
And on social media?
Yeah.
Okay. One quick question since we're almost out of time. You mentioned the different categories. So there's textiles, so it would be clothing. What are the other categories that people can enter something for?
We don't have categories for textiles or clothing, but rather the categories are, again, from elderly, adult, youth, and children's category.
Okay,
yep,
so it could be jewelry.
Yep, accessories. Okay. We've had people have beaded hats, whole sets of beaded jewelry, clothing, moccasins.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations for doing that. Or I think just a shout out that you elevate artists and give them an opportunity to showcase what they do, and the work is so incredible.
Yes.
I just think you guys do such a great job. I don't know.
Thank you.
I'm your own cheering squad.
Thank you.
Again, Levi and Alicia, it's been great to have you on. Where can somebody go to find out more information, one, about the Phoenix Indian Center, about the 4 different events that we spoke about? Is it social media, the website, or both?
Yep, it's going to be both. Our website is a really great place just to go and check out our events calendar. They can see all of the great workshops that we offer, all year round. But that's going to be phxindcenter.org. I also encourage people to sign up for our bi-monthly newsletter. That's also a really good way to, stay in touch, with what we're doing out here in the Valley.
That's on a pop-up on your website, right?
It is, yep.
Okay.
So when you go there, it'll come right up, fill in your contact information, and we'll be sure to get you onto our list. But yeah, check out our social media channels. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. If you go to PHX IND Center, you'll find all of our social channels there.
And one more time, your phone number?
602-264-6768.
And your address?
4041 North Central Avenue, Building B, Phoenix AZ 85012. You can also reach us through email at info@phxindcenter.org.
And people can just walk into Phoenix Indian Center, right?
Yep.
Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and just say, hey, I've got questions about your services, and check it out?
Yep, they can do that. And then they can also check out a lot of the community events happening in the Valley, because we usually will have a resource table set up. So if they look for us, look for the red tablecloth. It usually says Phoenix Indian Center. Come right over, and we will love to tell you about all that we're doing out here.
And conveniently located next to light rail.
Correct.
Right, so you can hop off at Central and Indian School, walk right over to Phoenix Indian Center or Native Health, and say hi and check out everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And encourage everybody to go to Native Health as well. So if you're here, pop on over, so you can definitely get a lot of information, services completed.
In
all
one quick place.
Location.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you both for coming on. We appreciate it, and I'm excited to go to all the activities and events. You do such a great job, and I'm looking forward to being there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Coming up next on Native Talk Arizona, Talia Miracle will tell us about the Indigenous Library Program at Little Free Library. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org.
602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy. With us today is Talia Miracle, and she's the manager of the Indigenous Library Program at Little Free Library. It's an initiative that increases book access in Indigenous and tribal communities to help improve literacy outcomes and ignite a love of reading. Hello, Talia, and welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Hi, Susan. Thank you for having me today.
Super excited that you're here, and I love Little Free Libraries. But before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and your background.
Like you already mentioned, my name is Talia, and I currently work for Little Free Library. I'm a program manager of the Indigenous Library Program. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with my husband and my 3-year-old little boy, and we are also expecting another baby to welcome into the family at the end of February.
Congratulations!
So there's a lot of...
That's awesome.
Thank you. So there's I feel like a lot kind of going on around this time of year. So we're keeping ourselves busy here. I've been at Little Free Library for almost 2 years now. And prior to that, I was working at another nonprofit on their development team. And so that was really fun to share stories and share impact about the nonprofit that I was working for. And then prior to that, I was a preschool teacher and a pre-K literacy tutor. So those experiences have kind of set me up for success to be a program manager for Little Free Library. I loved the work I was doing as a teacher and a literacy tutor. I also loved working for the other nonprofit, but one thing that was kind of missing for me is that I wasn't serving the Indigenous community as much as I wanted to, especially after my son was born. That just really put kind of my priorities into perspective. And I really wanted to dedicate more of my time to serving Indigenous communities. And that's how I ended up here. And now I pretty much get to exclusively work with Indigenous communities, granting libraries to them and ensuring that they have access to literacy resources. So it kind of is the perfect job. I'm a part of the Ho-Chunk tribe of Winnebago, Nebraska, but I have been in the Twin Cities my whole life.
And it sounds pretty cold up there.
Yes, and it is snowing right now. I'm seeing snowflakes out of my window. So I'm snuggled up in my dining room with my blanket and my slippers right now.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I know when you were talking about that and that you have a 3-year-old at home and that you're expecting, I kind of envision, you're in the couch and it's snowing and nice and dark outside and cozy inside with Coco. And so sounds pretty nice. I'm familiar with the Little Free Libraries, but for our listeners that are not, what is a Little Free Library? What is the organization? And tell me all about it.
So a lot of people, I think, have seen Little Free Libraries before. They're just a little box. A lot of times they're outside of people's houses, kind of at the end of the driveway or in the front yard. People build their own libraries. However, Little Free Library is an official nonprofit organization. So we also sell Little Free Libraries if you're not feeling too handy or like you want to take on the task of building one yourself. So basically, we are just a nonprofit, and our mission is to build community, inspire readers, and expand book access through a global network of volunteer-led Little Free Library book sharing boxes. So basically what we do is we provide support to stewards, and stewards are the people that have the Little Free Libraries. They're the ones that care for them, that stock them with books. So we make sure that they are successful in sharing books with their community. So we do the retail side of things by selling libraries to people who are interested in sharing books with the community. And then we also have a couple of programs where you can apply to the program to receive a free library and free books. These are grant programs, and they are directed towards people or organizations that are in book deserts. So book deserts are kind of similar to what some people would call a food desert. And they're geographic areas where there's not a lot of book resources. And so we know that it's really important, and it's especially important to get books to those areas. So that's why we have programs like the Indigenous Library Program. So I get to provide all of these books and libraries at no cost to communities across the U.S. and Canada. And we're here to share more books, and especially to get out more books that are written by Indigenous authors.
I think it is such an amazing program. Native Health has multiple Little Free Libraries, and as I previously mentioned, you all have been generous enough to gift us some Indigenous Little Free Libraries and the books, and we are so thankful and so excited and can't wait to get them. So tell me a little bit, so you talked a little bit about expanding book access and Little Free Libraries like to Indigenous and tribal communities. Does book access increase literacy levels? Have you done any studies about it, or is that just kind of obvious?
Well, I do think it is obvious. We anecdotally just hear from stewards that, book access does increase literacy levels. Especially in communities where there are people that just don't have the luxury of purchasing books on their own. I mean, I'm sure books, and especially written by Indigenous authors, those are expensive books. A lot of times they work with small publishers, and so just because of that fact, they have to charge more for the books. If they don't have a library in their community, or the library is only open certain days, certain hours, that can be a barrier to access. Also, if you live, let's say in a rural area and there's no public transportation and you don't have your own vehicle, that's a barrier too to getting to read books. So we have heard that by providing Little Free Libraries in the community, that does increase literacy levels. And you mentioned data collection. So besides anecdotally knowing that access to Little Free Libraries increases literacy levels, we would love to get more hard data on that. So we are actually right now doing a pilot program, and it's an assessment that is looking at visitors to Little Free Libraries, and then we're just gathering their experience. But I mean, just from all of our stewards that we hear from every day, they tell us stories about how their libraries have impacted their communities, how they've seen, kids who may not be super excited to read books. They will come across one of our Indigenous libraries and see a book that features somebody that looks like them, and that gets them to be interested in opening up the book. So I think it's really important, as long as you're providing diverse books and that you are providing books where kids have a choice of what they get to read, and the stories are focused on their experiences and their culture, that really does just increase the chances that kids will learn to love to read.
But what you said is so true. They are so expensive. And so with our Little Free Library, the one we have now, we get secondhand books, and we go to Goodwill and garage sales and pick them up. And we always say to kids that are in the waiting room, take what you want, take as many as you want, take them home, because we know that they don't have books. And when we do get a few Indigenous books, it's like they're gold, and it's, like you can have one, pick one, since we don't get them, and like I said, they're so expensive. So if somebody's interested in being a steward of a Little Free Library, not necessarily an Indigenous Little Free Library, which we're going to talk about in a minute, what are the commitments that come with it besides getting the actual box or little house or whatever? Is there a time commitment? Is there a financial commitment? Do you have to register it? Or do you just go out in your front yard and put a box out there?
So that's kind of what I like about Little Free Library. You can do it however you want to. There is no right way to share books. We have people that, like I said, build their own Little Free Libraries who are not officially connected to the Little Free Library network. People make libraries out of like old microwaves or old cabinets. We've seen some really creative boxes for sharing books. So you can definitely do it that way and just take it upon yourself to share books kind of in like a low-key, informal way. If you would like, you can also purchase a library from our website. We work exclusively with Amish builders to build our library kits. You can purchase one that is already put together. You can purchase a kit and put it together yourself. You have that option. These libraries are really meant to last. So like I said, we're in Minnesota. I mean, we do have freezing cold temperatures for half the year. And the books, they stand up to the wind and the snow and the freezing. So it's nice to know that when you're purchasing one of our kits, it will last you. And they're meant to be like either little to no maintenance. So that's nice too, that you don't have to constantly be checking on the library to make sure that there's no damage or anything to it. And then you also, once you decide to become a steward, if you want to be super official, you can purchase a charter sign from us. And so if you've visited a Little Free Library before, you might have seen a little silver plaque on the front of the library, and that's our charter sign. So every steward who has one of those signs is given an individual number. It's their charter number that links them to the organization, and then it gets you access to some steward-only resources. So for example, we work with publishers throughout the year to do book giveaways. Every month we have tons of books to give away to stewards, and it's just a giveaway, so you just have to enter your name into a drawing. And you can only enter those book giveaways if you are an official steward. If you don't want to be a steward, you don't want the responsibility of having a Little Free Library and keeping it stocked, you can always donate your books to a Little Free Library in your area. So that's another nice thing too. You can still be a part of the organization without having to have an actual library. So if you want to donate books, we have an app where you can see in your area where there are Little Free Libraries already located. If you looked up your neighborhood on the map, you would see little dots of where someone's registered library is, and then you could just go to that address and drop off your books.
That is pretty cool. Where? How can you find the app?
You can find a link to that on our website, which is just littlefreelibrary.org. Otherwise, in the App Store on your phone, we have options for Android and iPhones, and you would just type in Little Free Library, and then our app will pull up there first. So it's free to download, it's free to use. I like to use it if I'm traveling, just to see where the Little Free Libraries are in a town or a city that I've never been to. Just because everybody's libraries are so different, I like to see what everybody has done with their libraries.
That is true. You mentioned microwave. I was in Austin a couple weeks ago, and we were out walking, and there was a Little Free Library with the placard on it, and it was out of a microwave, and I had never seen that one before. And there were books in there.
Yeah. People really get creative. And it's this microwave would have ended up in the landfill, but now it's here and it's serving its next life.
It was interesting, and we actually found a book in there and brought it home. So we keep talking a little bit about the Indigenous Little Free Library program. What is that?
So the Indigenous Library program is a grant program. So it's a no-cost program where we share libraries and then also books to people that apply. The program is open to anybody who's part of an Indigenous community. So, that could be somebody living on tribal lands, on a reservation, in an urban area, rural area. It could be to an organization like yours that serves Indigenous people. So there aren't really any restrictions to who can apply, as long as the library and the books will be accessible to Indigenous people. We also invite anybody who lives in the U.S. or in Canada to apply. That right now is our service area. And it's a very simple process. You just visit our website and you fill out an application. The application is open all year, so there's not a deadline or anything to worry about, which is nice. And then after you fill out the application, we review it, and then we determine if it sounds like you would be a good fit for the program, and then we offer you the library. So you get your choice from a couple of different models of libraries, and then you also get 50 books to start out your library collection. We do take a lot of time to be really intentional about choosing which books go into the bundles. So of those 50 books, most of them are written by BIPOC authors, and then 25 are written by Indigenous authors. They're all pretty current books. All of them are brand new, and they're for all reading levels. So we really try to make sure that we have something for everyone in these bundles. And then it's kind of the same commitment as it would be if you were a steward starting your own library. So we just ask that you keep the library stocked, and to make sure that it's an ongoing living community resource. We just want to make sure that it's welcoming to the community, and that you've thought about plans for sustaining it into the future, hopefully at least for a year, is what we ask. But we just have this program because we want to inspire readers, and we want to expand book access in Indigenous communities. And we know that by providing these books, they just support more positive literacy outcomes.
What an absolutely awesome program. So how long has the Indigenous LFLs been in existence? Is this a new program, or has it been around and just that we never heard about it?
It is newer. The program was launched about a year and a half ago. During that time, we have done a lot of promotion for the program just because we realized that a lot of people hadn't heard of the program before. Even in general, we are still hearing from lots of people that say, oh, Little Free Library is an organization? Like, people work there? We're like, yes, we work there. So we're still kind of spreading a lot of awareness about it. Since it is a grant program, we do rely on funding from sponsors and donors. It's also kind of, people are like, you really get a library and books at no cost. Like, they think that there's, a catch or something to it. So I think that's also part of it too. People haven't heard of it, and then when they do, I really have to say, like, yes, that there is no catch. This is what we're doing. And really, so it's a lot of promotion at this point. But yeah, it's been a year and a half, and we just continue to grant libraries. We're just wrapping up this year, and so in 2025, we have a goal of granting 100 Indigenous library packages.
That is so amazing. So I know that you sound so incredibly passionate about this program, and I think we can't wait to get ours. But do you have a favorite success story or anything anecdotally or anything that you've experienced from the Indigenous LFL, Little Free Libraries, that you could share?
I have
Sorry.
cutest story. So I would say sometime in 2024, I granted a library to an early childhood center. It's located on the Navajo Nation, and so it's in a really rural place. These little kiddos who are between the ages of like 2.5 to 5 at this early childhood center are just kind of really isolated in this small community. To get to the closest kindergarten, it was like an hour bus ride for them. Just something that I think would even be hard as an adult to do, like a 1 hour commute in the morning. So because they were in such a rural community, it was just kind of hard for them to get access to literacy materials. And so they applied to the program, and we gifted them the library. And the model that they chose was an unfinished wood model. So they chose that option because then they were able to decorate the library. So they assembled the library, put it together, and then let the kids kind of go to town painting the library. They got some photos of the decorating, and so just picture like 15 little kids with little paint smocks on and paint like all over their bodies. And so they really took the time to personalize the library and paint it and make it their own. And now it's in front of their early childhood center. And, you know, they picked the books. They picked our young reader bundle, so the books were age appropriate for them. Also, at this early childhood center, it's kind of a hub for the community. So, you know, like their parents and their siblings and other family members regularly come to pick the kids up and drop them off. So it really became a resource for just not even the kids, but for their whole families and for the whole community. And so it was really sweet to see that they kind of let these kids just, you know, decorate the library however they wanted to, and to be able to give them another resource for them to access more books. So that's one of my favorite stories. They are a recipient that we've featured on our website before. They were just really excited to get the library and to decorate it, and the photos that they shared were just really, really sweet.
Well, and I think that, and I love the story and the imagery that you bring to mind, but I think that it's so important, and those kids have books at home and something they're proud of, and then if they choose to return it and get another book. But I just think little free libraries are so critical, especially when you don't, like you said, when you don't have a library right down the street, or it's not open, and with budget cuts, like in Phoenix, you know, they've cut the days and the hours, and it's nice just to have a little free library and go around the corner or wherever down the street and pick out something that you want to read for the weekend or evening or whatever. I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and to be able to share that book with your family. I mean, we see especially a lot of books come out of the library, and they might not ever come back to the library, but we think that's okay because we know that people are starting their home libraries, and once they are done reading that book, they're going to pass it along to a family member who's going to pass it along to a friend, and these books are circulating within the community. So, like, we know that. But yeah, they get the choice of picking something that sparks their interest, and then they get to pass it along. And yeah, they're not bound by hours or having no library, or one that, you know, might be really far away or take a really long time to get to. So they're just, the libraries are convenient, and they just are a really great way to provide a resource to the community.
What a great program. It makes such a difference. Who's eligible to apply for the Indigenous Little Free Library program? Anybody is eligible to apply to the program. You just have to be connected to an Indigenous community. Age-wise, I think our cutoff is like 13. So you have to be 13 years old at least. But just anybody who wants to share books with the community. You can just be an individual who sees a need and says, hey, I want to do this. You can be a part of an organization. You can be a librarian. You can be a part of a school. So really anybody that is going to be making sure that books reach Indigenous communities can apply. And where would they find that on your website? Do you have to, under the search tab, or is it obvious on the website? So if you visit littlefreelibrary.org, up on the right-hand side, there's a drop-down menu with our programs listed, and there's a link you can click on that says Indigenous Library Program. It shares more about the goals of the program. It shares a link directly to the application that you can fill out online, and it just tells you everything you need to know. I can't wait to get ours. I'm so excited. Finally, how can our listeners reach out, learn more about your work? Do you prefer that they email you or contact through the website? What's the best way? The best way to reach me would be through my email. That is tmiracle@littlefreelibrary.org. I am also listed on our website, so you can find me there. And I am happy to talk more about the Indigenous Library Program with anybody who has more questions or who wants to hear more about it, hear more about specifically what we offer through the program. So I would love to connect with listeners that want to learn more. Awesome. Okay, so again, it's T as in Tom, Miracle, at littlefreelibrary.org, correct?
Yes, you got it.
Okay, perfect. Well, we can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy day and snowy day up north and telling us about the Indigenous Little Free Libraries. And I hope our listeners will be inclined to go check out the website and contact you and see how they can get books in the community.
Yes, thank you so much. I enjoy talking about this program so much because I've seen how valuable it is. So I do hope listeners reach out. I would love to grant more libraries next year, and I look forward to hearing from listeners.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy. Sound engineer is Javier Quiroga. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listen2krdp.com.